Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I literally lost track of the time trying to get so much stuff going right now and done. I have another impromptu appointment today, so I'm gonna kind of get through this as quickly as possible. But I hope you have a great weekend. Apologize for not doing a Crypto on the Rocks Friday. I actually, believe it or not, had people emailing me saying no live stream tonight, and I thought I put enough of that information out there that I wasn't going to be doing one, but I guess I did not. But we'll be back at it this week, Crypto on the Rocks this Friday. So make sure that you are prepared to be there. You're gonna have the opportunity to start voting on the new DCA portfolio for the second half of 2024. And that's going to be deep in projects. So come tune in. We will be doing that. How's your week going so far? Good, I hope. Honestly, I know it's Monday. I'm still sipping coffee here. Cheers, by the way. But you know what? We're going to jump right into the markets. And then we're going to get into exactly what we're going to be talking about, which is some interest rate cuts from other central banks around the world. And it's funny. At the end, I just came across a couple of things. A couple of banks and their predictions for the next interest rate cut by the Fed. And I thought it was hilarious because they're completely but we'll take a look at that. First, let's take a jump into the markets. And all right, let's do it. Bitcoin at 69.3. It was up higher, as you can see here, into like almost 72K. End of last week kind of thing, and dropped back and down below 70K, but it's holding pretty steady. Not for nothing, it really is. And I'm thinking that this is going to be a good floor, if you would, for Bitcoin. Ethereum down a little bit. I mean, it was pretty steady in that 38K range down to 36K here. So, hey, Automatic Beats in the house. Welcome, sir. Appreciate you being here. And anyway, so 36.72 for them. We still got BNB doing extraordinarily well at $645. We got Solana at 158.78, down about 4.5% over the last 7 days, but still not looking too shabby. And Solana, again, going to be a player no matter what in this cycle. And let's just see, is he yeah, there he is right there. Automatic Beat, sold to the moon, baby. Came looking for it, brother. Came looking for it. Okay. Let's keep clipping along here. What else? XRP down below. It was holding pretty steady there in that 52-cent range, down 4.5%, below 50 cents now. We got Doge down 11% in the last 7 days, below that 16-cent mark, well below, about 14.5 cents. Let's see, Cardano back down a little bit, just over 3%, 44 cents. SHIB is down about 8.5%. We got a lot of red in the market today, is the long and short of everything. AVAX 32.52 down 10%. 10%. Absolutely crazy goodbye for AVAX, if you ask me. Tron holding steady in that 11-cent area. Chainlink. Whoops, I keep scrolling right by all this. I'm sorry, guys. It's because I'm in kind of a rush to get this live stream squared away here, because, like I said, the last minute change in my schedule today. I have to go pick up one of my grandchildren. So my time is on the straight and narrow. Jar in the house. Appreciate you being here, my friend. You're welcome to join if you want. Because we're going to be talking to the Bank of Canada very shortly. If you're interested, let me know. I'll send you the link. But Jar in the house this morning. Appreciate that. All right, let's keep going. Excuse me. Allergies kicking my butt. Chainlink, look at this. Down almost 13%, $15.89. Again, to me, anything below $20, great purchase price for Chainlink. But right here, buy the proverbial dip. That's the way I see that. Buy the dip. BCH, not looking pretty shabby at all. 465.96. Look at this. Uniswap, still right around that $10 mark. Good for them. Appreciate seeing that, let me tell you. Matic looking pretty good, even though it's down over 9%, 64 cents. Again, good buy for Matic. Absolutely good buy for Matic. I understand. Jar says he's listening while on conference calls. Appreciate you being here, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. You'll be seeing myself, Jar, and FF tomorrow. We got, what are we talking about? I'm not sure. We're going to be tossing that around a little while, I hope, when I get back from taking care of my grandson. Yeah, anyway, sorry, I don't want to keep getting off track here. Look at this. Litecoin back down below $80. Goodbye for Litecoin. As far as I'm concerned, almost 5.5% down. Pepe, look at this. It was up, now down almost 19% on Pepe. Caspa still up 8.1% over the last 7 days. Looking mighty good at 16 cents. You know, I've been looking at Aptos lately. Down 7% over the last 7 days, 842. Tell me what you think about Aptos. I'm thinking I might throw a couple of bucks in that. I'm feeling pretty good about that in this cycle here, the more I'm looking into it. But tell me what you think. Render, that's one of the cryptos that you're going to be able to vote to dollar cost average into in this crypto portfolio cycle on Crypto on the Rocks this coming Friday. Right now, down over 11%. So looking mighty good for Aptos. XMR, Monero. You know, I think privacy coins are going to be a humongous deal, especially come 2025, because they're just trying, governments around the globe are just trying to erode our privacy every which way but loose. And 14% up right now over the last 7 days, up 5, almost 6% here in the last 24 hours. Good deal there. H-bar back down a buck. Haven't seen that down below a buck. Let's try that again. People are like, what, a buck? Down below 10 cents. Haven't seen that in a while for XLM. So looking mighty good there. All right, let's again, I've got, unfortunately, a schedule to keep here today. Can't leave my grandson hanging. So let's get into what we're going to talk about today. You know, I know it isn't primarily about cryptocurrency, but people not only in the United States, but across the globe, let's be honest, watch what the Fed does with regard to interest rates. And, you know, they try to hedge their bets and investments according to what the Fed might do. And the crypto space is no different. I mean, let's be honest. At the end of the day, what the Fed does influence the crypto space. Although if you've noticed lately, it's been a little more decoupled than it has been in the past. But let's just say, if there is money to be placed into investment opportunities, Fed reducing rates definitely flows into the crypto space. So in rapid succession here, we're going to look at some of the other central banks who have basically stepped out ahead of the Fed and have gone and cut interest rates. Crazy, right? But let's look. So first one that came out and reduced their interest rates was the Bank of Canada. So Jar, feel free to throw in any 2 cents about this. But right here, they reduced their, the Bank of Canada reduced rates by 25 basis points. Okay, 25. And I get it. That's not a lot, but it's in the downward direction. And why are they doing it? We're going to actually look. I'm going to bring up an article. And again, links to these initial stuff that I'm putting out to you right now is in the description of this live stream, so you'll be able to go and check these out on your own. Some of the ones that I'm going to show you at the end, unfortunately, I found right before I came live, so it wouldn't allow me to update that. So I'll make sure that I put the links to those in the live chat when we get to them. Excuse me. And Jar saying, I honestly didn't think they would drop the rate at all. And of course, because I mean, Bank of Canada definitely follows suit with the Fed, and there is no real indicator that the Fed is going to reduce rates. But Canada basically leading the proverbial way right here with rate cuts. And now let's go take a look at the next one. So who else reduced their their rate? Right here, the ECB, the European Central Bank, cut their rates by 0.25. So basically 25 basis points. So they're down to now, instead of 4%, they're down to 3.75%. And again, it's mentioning here, Canada did it yesterday. So basically, you had Canada start moving in that direction. And then you got now the ECB doing it the next day. And Jar saying, looks like the global banks are syncing up. Yeah, against the Fed, which quite frankly, I got no complaints. Do that. Because, you know, right now, the Fed keeping interest rates as high as they are is basically just exporting U.S. inflation. But that's a topic for maybe a different live stream or a live stream that I had a little bit more time. So I apologize for not really going down that road. But I mean, if you're here in the crypto space, you probably already understand that. Anyway, so first was the Bank of Canada. Second was the ECB. And then you had Denmark come out and do the same, basically following suit, cutting by 25 basis points. So now they're down to 3.35%. After, again, this happened after the Bank of Canada and the ECB reduced their rates. And in this particular tweet, they're saying, is the Fed next? Well, is the Fed next? That's a great question. Tell me what you think in the live chat, please. My opinion, and again, it is just my opinion, is that the Fed should cut rates. However, I think they're going to hold out a little bit longer because if they don't, I mean, again, links to the last few live streams I've done in the description of this live stream. You've got 63 banks on the verge of insolvency and failure here in the US. I mean, FDIC put out that report. They didn't tell you which banks, by the way, because it would start bank runs and definitely collapse the system. But the Fed keeping this as is, I don't know. I think I don't know. I'm going to believe that they believe that they need to continue to do that in order to keep the system stable. My humble opinion, and we know how humble my opinion is. Anyway, all right, let's take a look at the article I was going to I wanted to show you, and I wanted to read a couple of the quotes that are here. In particular, this article is focusing on the central bank rate cuts for the Bank of Canada and the ECB. So, and it's they go through about how this will affect the crypto space. But I want to focus a little bit more on the what they did and the reasons in the quotes that are here in this article. Basically here, as it puts it into a nutshell, what I've just showed you. The ECB reduced its key rate to 3.75% from 4%, so that 25 basis points. A move anticipated by markets despite ongoing inflationary pressures in the Eurozone. Meanwhile, the Bank of Canada lowered its key policy rate to 4.75% from 5%, becoming the first G7 nation to do so in this current cycle. And you know, the G7, the forgot if that's the global seven, the grand seven, whatever the frig it is. Basically, seven of the biggest economies on the planet get together. It's the G7, G20. They get together once a year, if I remember correctly. And as I recall, if I'm right, if I remembering correctly, they're meeting pretty soon, to be honest, the G7. So it is kind of interesting that they mention the first that the Bank of Canada is the first G7 nation to actually do these cuts. So let's take a quick look at the quote from Christine Lagarde, which is the president of the ECB, is what she's got to say as to about this particular rate cut. So right here, she says, based on an updated assessment on the inflation outlook, the dynamics of underlying inflation, and the strength of monetary policy transmission, it is now appropriate to moderate the degree of monetary policy restriction after 9 months of holding rates steady. I don't know. You ask me, that sounds like just a pile of shit that she's tossing out there, quite frankly. Because let's be honest, there, again, I'm trying to keep this stream pretty. These high inflation rates have had, I believe, have had their intended effect, which is to basically crush economies. And I mean, let's look at the latest jobs report, for example, here in the US. I know we were just talking about Christine Lagarde and the ECB, but the latest job report, I mean, they were touting it as, oh my God, we did like, what was it, 265,000 new jobs. Okay, but if you actually read into the report, those 265,000, I might have the number just off a little bit, so, but I'm in the ballpark. Anyway, are part-time jobs. If you go look into full-time jobs, we lost in the United States over 600,000 full-time jobs. So it's like most things in mainstream media, and like most things that you hear from your government, it is cherry-picked data that they're putting out to you. So again, you've got these people that maybe, and in this case, I'm going to say the ECB, maybe they're like, okay, we've crushed the economy enough. Now we need to maybe kind of ease off that gas pedal a little bit. And part of why I said I think the Fed should do a rate cut, because, sorry, that economic data is not good. I don't care how you slice it, how you dice it. But yet people will tout it as being great. Anyway, so that is the quote from the ECB. Hang on, I'm going to bring that back up here so you can see the next one. I want to go take a look at the quote from the Bank of Canada's Governing Council. They basically put out a statement and said the Governing Council is closely watching the evolution of core inflation and remains particularly focused on the balance between demand and supply in the economy, inflation expectations, wage growth, and corporate pricing behavior. So, and don't get me wrong, I believe that all these central banks are monitoring that. So, but okay, that still doesn't state necessarily why you decided, unless you're seeing a now increasing negative influence due to these high interest rates. I mean, right? Am I missing something here? Please tell me. Chris Hanley in the house. You're allowed to be late, my friend. But this is going to be a short stream, so sorry, I'm clipping along right here. But I appreciate you being here. Welcome. All right. I mean, do you see what I'm saying? I feel like these people who are, trying desperate, or I feel like these people are trying desperately to push this collapse that's eventually going to happen as far down the road as possible. I just do. And I mean, again, remember, I sat here showing you in that last live stream, again, link in the description below, where, again, in the US, you've got these banks, 63 of them on the brink of basically falling apart. And I'll tell you what, regardless if they're mid-size banks or not, and I showed you at the end of that live stream where some of the big banks, I think, are going to be influenced by any of these banks collapsing. Go watch that live stream. It is going to be a shock to the system, which again plays to why I believe that the Fed should go ahead and cut rates. Now I'm chuckling a little bit because I wanted to just show you, because let's be honest, this is what's going to be happening, right? And here's some of what's going on this week. This is from investing.com. Oh, wait, let me do that so you can see it better, and get rid of that so you can see it better. This is from investing.com, and this is the one where I said that these last couple here are the ones I didn't have I just found them, so I didn't have the opportunity to put them in the description. So here we go. I'm putting it in the live chat for you, this first one, so you can go and check that out on your own at your leisure. But basically, they detail this week what's coming up from the Fed. So Wednesday, we're supposed to be having our decision whether or not they're going to raise rates, stay with rates the way they are. That's Wednesday this week. Also, their FOMC statements this week on Wednesday, the economic predictions from the FOMC are this week on Wednesday, and then Powell speaks afterward. After that's concerned, and I think they missed something else here. I believe there's some jobs analysis coming out on Thursday that they didn't put in here as well. But yeah, at the end of the day, they just keep printing and printing and printing. And if they don't start loosening these rates, I don't know. I think it's going to just hasten the inevitable collapse of these banks that I was talking about earlier. So again, sorry I didn't have that in the description, but hence the reason I put it in the live chat. Now, a lot of these banks and the people in the know, like the Jamie Dimons, which I'm going to show you a tweet from JPMorgan, well, not from JPMorgan Chase, but a statement that was tweeted from them. And then Citibank. So two different major banks here in the United States. And they're two different thought processes about when and if the Fed is going to actually reduce rates. I think it's hilarious. So I guess whichever, if it's Jamie Dimon or Citibank. But I again, I'll put the link in the live chat right now. Let me just bring it up here. Sorry. So right here, this is again from investing.com. JPMorgan Chase is what they're referring to here. Changes first Fed rate cut view from November to November from July. So they originally said it was going to be July, so next month. And now they're saying, no. That's definitely going to be in November. Now, I am a little less likely to believe this one, and I'm putting the link to this again in the live chat, so feel free to go ahead and check that out. But I'm a little, I don't know, to me, that's a little suspect. It's an election year here in the United States. The economy has to be looking as good as possible when November rolls around. The election is the first Tuesday in November. The FOMC meeting and, Powell, where he's going to potentially reduce rates, that kind of thing, wouldn't be till like the following week. So having it happen in November does not make sense at all to me. Sorry. The hair is just aggravating me. Sorry about that. So I don't know. I don't know that, well, Jamie Dimon's an idiot anyway. Yes, you can quote me on that. So I don't know that I necessarily believe that this is accurate information. However, or an accurate guess, whatever. Because again, at the end of the day, I guess unless they have insider information, it's all a guess, right? Now, on the other end of that, you have Citibank, who basically says Citi changes its first Fed rate cut forecast to September from July. So they're pushing it back, just like JPMorgan Chase, but see, they're doing it to September, which honestly makes more sense to me because at least that way it ends up being before the election. So, again, things would be as positive as possible. And I just put that link in the live chat as well. So you can go ahead and check that out. So, excuse me. If for whatever reason, Powell decides not to cut rates, even though you've got the Bank of Canada, the ECB, and Denmark cutting rates by 25 basis points already ahead of whatever the Fed does. Well, I don't think they're going far past September. He's got pressure on him from the current administration for sure to get the economy as well in line as possible before election day. So to me, that means Fed rate cuts are coming. And I don't know, I'm still a little bit bullish about the July thing, or maybe August, I guess. Maybe, I guess you could push it back another month to August, whatever, and still have that lead time before the US election. So what does this do for crypto? Well, I mean, right now we're seeing a lot of blood in the market. To me, if they do loosen up these rates here in the US, and I do believe, even if it's not this week, within the next, I'm going to say by August, the Fed will cut rates. And that's just going to loosen up a little bit of money because these banks need to be able to lend money, but nobody wants to go and borrow money with the interest rates the way they are. Hence, you've got a number, 63 altogether. Again, link in the description of this live stream to go check out last Thursday's stream where I explained the FDIC report, explained about the 63 US banks on the verge of insolvency, and explained how at the very end why I think some of these big banks might be a little more at risk. So go ahead and check that out. But I think the rate cuts are coming. I think that might open up a little bit of money. I believe personally that these kind of rate cuts are going to help to be part of the catalyst that starts to move money into cryptocurrency. Again, wait, there's my, where is it? Right there. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, old guy interwebs. That's what I got. And again, I know this is a shorter live stream, and I apologize for that. But like I said, my grandson is waiting on me, so I've got to deal with that. But let's give you a breakdown of the week because got the beginning of the week here. Got Monday going, beginning of your work week. You got a lot of things going on. So tomorrow, 10 a.m. on this channel, on the Matrix Money podcast, on Jar's channel and FF's channel. Come and see the three of us on the podcast, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Not 100% sure what we're going to be talking about yet. I'm going to be throwing those guys a topic I think we should discuss, but I don't want to put it out here in case that's not what ends up happening. So tomorrow, 10 a.m., Matrix Money podcast. Then on Wednesday and Thursday, 10 a.m., I will be live as normal here. What am I talking about? I'm not 100% sure yet. I've got a couple of things in the hopper, so we'll see what happens with that. I'm also working on grabbing a couple of interviews, so who knows how that's going to play out. But definitely be here 10 a.m. on Thursday, Wednesday and Thursday. And then again, do not forget Friday night, 7 p.m. Let me get that up on the screen for you. Eastern time for Crypto on the Rocks. Come on, we have a casual conversation. couple of drinks, we get people on. We just literally shoot the shit about cryptocurrency for however long it goes. And then I follow that up with After Hours Crypto, which is strictly on Patreon. And we go into God knows what kind of topics. Last time it was election topics. It was all kinds of things. So it goes where it goes, and I say what I say because I'm behind a paywall. So if you're paying to hear my opinion, you're going to get it. If you think Crypto on the Rocks is a little bit raw, you need to be there for that. Cheers, by the way. So don't forget Crypto on the Rocks. Oh, don't forget about the most important part of Crypto on the Rocks. I show you how you can take as little as $25 a week and DCA into crypto and add value to and wealth to your portfolio. Of that $25, we take 15, put it into Bitcoin always. The other $10, you vote for what we're going to dollar cost average into. The first half of 2024 was all about Web3 and P2E. That's over. Now, starting this Friday, you get to vote for the second half of 2024's portfolio, which is DPIM projects. So I hope that you'll be here for that. And that's going to pretty much do it for this live stream. Again, I appreciate everybody who was here. Appreciate everybody who was in the chat. I apologize that this is a little bit quicker than normal, but got to do family first always. So I got to head out and I got to take care of business. I look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time for Matrix Money Podcast. Make sure you hear Hey Automatic Beats. I appreciate you every time saying that awesome stream. I really appreciate that. And yes, we will see you tomorrow. Appreciate you. And everybody else who was in the live chat, Jar, Chris, trying to make sure I don't miss anybody here. Thank you all for being in the live chat and being part of the conversation. All right. I'm heading out. Have a great week. And I hope to see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Matrix Money Podcast.